Alright, this is the Shattered Forge Dungeon side quest. So I'm going to talk a little bit about how I'm changing the format of this guide, because I've been making these guides for long enough that I know that if I don't start to focus a little bit more on just getting it done, I'm never going to finish this project. So the first couple videos I had Dan along to do the voiceovers. I'm not going to wait for him to do the voiceovers because it can be tough to coordinate getting both people kind of in the right mindset to sit down and do the voiceovers. Oh, as soon as I start talking about that, I think I hear him stomping. So I'm not going to be doing voiceovers for the entire guide either. And I'm also not going to be doing specific collectible videos. I'm going to be picking up all the collectibles that I possibly can throughout the whole game. But I'm not going to be editing collectible only videos just because it takes so much time to do those, and I want to go back after I finish the game to make collectible videos, but if I don't focus on just finishing this walkthrough, I'm never going to get it done. So I'm kind of streamlining a little bit, I guess you could say, and just so I can focus on making the Nightmare Guide and not the 100% of everything found in the entire game guide, which is a much bigger project and much more tedious, really. Yeah. So also, if you've been listening to a lot of these videos, you may have noticed if you have a very keen ear, you might have noticed that there's Carl. That the mic sounds a little bit different than it did previously. So. I got a new mic set up. I'm still adjusting it around, trying to figure out the best way to make it sound great and get the volume levels right and all that. So, yeah, it's a new little thing. So, coming up in a couple seconds here, you're going to see the first real hidden weapon that I've been able to find in the game, but you actually can't get to it until quite a bit later in the game. Let's see, I'll pull up my notes. So at 2.5 minutes in this video, the Omega Blades, that's what they're called. So if you turn around right here, you can see that yellow, I think it's corruption. I think they just call that corruption. And you can't actually get a bomb to hit that and destroy that yet. After you get the Deathgrip, if you come back here, you can grab the bomb that's in this next room and destroy that corruption there, and get the Omega Blades, which actually they're not that great of a weapon compared to, like, the amount of damage that the Omega Blades do isn't that great, and all the super hidden weapons actually have like secondary special abilities, and I think the Omega Blades like ignite enemies when you hit them or something like that. But it's not that great of a bonus. By that point in the game, you're actually going to have much stronger weapons, hopefully. So let's go through some of the feedback from the previous couple of videos, some of the comments that I liked that I pulled out. Wagon suggested on the website, actually, we should count how many times John says Zelda moment, and I think you should take a drink every time I say Zelda moment in this game, because you'll get fucking hammered, especially if you take a drink every time you actually hit one of those Zelda moments. I just said ZM like 5 times in a row. Let's fucking finish those beers. Len Zeppelin wrote, I'm not sure if you already tried this or if it's considered cheating, but is it possible to turn your Xbox off the instant that you die so the game wouldn't recognize your death? Or does it automatically start your game over when you die? It automatically starts the game over when you die, and I assume that it saves right away, but I actually haven't tried that. That's an interesting idea. I've seen that posted a couple times, and I bet you could get away with it. But you could definitely get away with pausing the game if you think you're just about to die and then turning the console off. I haven't tested that yet, but I would bet very heavily that you could do that. And it's pretty easy to, like, if you get stuck in a boss fight and you just burn through your 5 health files really quickly, and you're like, oh fuck, I can't escape from this boss, and I've got no health packs, I'm done. I'm pretty sure you can just pause and quit and then reload, and it'll take you back to a safe spot, because it checkpoints. The checkpoints are actually really good in this game. I've never actually tried that yet, but hopefully I won't have to. I should do some testing and make another video on that. Oh, I'm also gonna update my what's running, or what's the fastest way to run through the game, running or rolling or anything like that. Someone suggested another technique where if you double run or double dash and then jump and then hit dash again, you jump and then slam to the ground, and then you can double dash after that. So it seems to be a little bit faster. I actually haven't edited that video yet, but I did do the test, so we'll find out about that soon. Man, that guy's taking away like a quarter of my health with every swipe. Son of a bitch. Guardian Josh wrote, another ability worth investing in is Murder, because that can also heal you. Arcane Guard, or whatever the shield ability is, would also help, because it can be upgraded to last longer and reflect damage back to enemies, as well as electrocute them. So I haven't experimented at all with what abilities are worth putting points into, but other than the teleport dash, I think that's what it's called, the one that I just used right there, because for the first abilities that you get, that one's the best. That one is the one you should put your points into. I don't like the ghouls. They don't do a lot of damage, and it takes quite a bit of points into them to actually make them worthwhile, because one of the abilities is that the ghouls actually can distract the enemies, which is very helpful, but it takes a while to unlock that ability, and they cost a lot to summon. And having an ability that can damage enemies as well as heal yourself, like, that's just infinitely better than summoning something that can do a small amount of damage, at least to me. I am going to be experimenting with some new skill loadouts, or ability loadouts, and I'll make some notes in the future videos for what I spend my points on. But on my first time through on normal, I just didn't find it necessary at all to I forgot to use my abilities for the longest time, because it was so relatively easy on normal that I never felt like I had to use every single weapon in my arsenal to get through the game. But on Nightmare, obviously I'm doing everything I can, using every ability, using every trick of the trade to get through this game, like actually learning all the different crazy combos and delay combos and stuff like that, and enemy weak spots, and learning all the crazy technicalities and how the upgrades and the points work and all. I mean, I'm really getting into it, and I'm really enjoying it so far. C. Kadam wrote, I think you guys are the only ones with this guide up. It's pretty impressive considering all the advertising and hype. It's almost a AAA game if it isn't considered that anyway. So there's two interesting parts to that. Awesome. A, if I'm the only one doing a Nightmare guide, and I guess it's been like a week and a half since I made an update, so this will be the first video since that first batch of 6 or 7. So, awesome. I'm going to finish it. I have plenty of time before Borderlands comes out. I've wrapped up a couple other small projects, so I'm going to be able to focus on this 100%. And now that I'm not going to be doing voiceovers. Ooh, man, I got pretty close to dead there. Use the health potion, motherfucker. Okay, I did. Now that I'm not going to be doing voiceovers for every single video, especially all the way through, like this is a 16-minute video, and I've got a ton of comments and stuff that I wanted to go over. But for the most part, a lot of these dungeon videos, I will not be doing the full voiceover. I'll just be adding like lots of notes, saying like, oh, you know, at the 2-minute mark, that's where the hidden item is. At the 15-minute mark, that's where the two rolling ball puzzle is. At the 20-minute mark, that's where the elevator puzzle is. I'll be doing a lot more stuff like that to kind of make it easier to find your way through these super long dungeon videos, because some of these dungeon videos are incredibly long. Like you don't always appreciate how long some of these missions are. At least I know I don't. And then I'm recording it and I'm like, holy shit, that was actually a 25-minute video and I still have the boss to do. Like, what the fuck? But this game, some of these dungeons are massive. I mean, even the side quest is 15, 16 minute long, and that's, you know, my third time through it, so I know exactly what I'm doing. And also, I don't know. He wrote, I don't know if it's considered a AAA game, and that's a good question. I don't think there's a good definition anywhere of what is a AAA game and what isn't, but, you know, it's a full retail product. It's the sequel to a pretty well reviewed, and this one is pretty well reviewed game, and I think it's a AAA. I think what am I trying to say? Not every first-person shooter is a AAA product. Like, Homefront also came out by THQ, or there's another one that came out Spec Ops: The Line. Like, I don't know if those... I think those are more borderline AAA than this. I think this is definitely AAA, simply by the quality of the product, not by advertising or budget or price, but by the quality of it. But, like, you know, some cut rate first-person shooters, like maybe, you know, like Spec Ops or Sniper Elite V2 or something like that, I think that they're just not the caliber of a release. Like, they just don't have the polish, or to me at least. So, Canderson713 wrote, I don't know if you know it now, but those invisible creatures, you get a quest from Draven at the Eternal Throne in the Kingdom of the Dead, and he gives you the Bloodless Talisman. Then you just have to equip it to interact with them. No, I did not know that, so thank you for pointing that out, Canderson, on the site. In one of the first couple videos, there was a weird enemy, kind of an invisible enemy running around that I commented on. I was like, I see him running around and I don't know if I can hit him, and I guess I guessed correctly in that it was part of a side quest that I skipped my first time through the game. So, good to know. The Stalking Stalker, I think this comment's from YouTube, asked, John, how many hours do you put into gaming a week? When a game just comes out, like, I played the hell out of this game right before it came out. You know, it's very seasonal. So during the Christmas season, I'll put probably at least 30, maybe more hours into it, and then even, you know, frequently just as many hours editing and then doing these voiceovers and organizing and uploading and promoting all these videos and stuff that I do. So it takes a shitload of time to do these guides. But like during the off season, like during the summer when there's almost no new releases, I don't game nearly as much. Or when I do, it's in a much more casual setting. Like, I don't know, maybe a $1 iPhone game, or League of Legends, or Counter-Strike, or Team Fortress, or something a little bit more laid back. And, well, I play the game for fun, not for work, so it's a completely different mindset that I go into playing games like that. And even then, like, even in the slow weeks, I'll probably put at least 10, sometimes more. I mean, like, I don't know, making these guides, 30 might even be a very low estimate. I would assume on the because I'm going to be cranking away on this guide. I bet in this next week I put at least 50 hours into it, and that's not including editing and voiceover and all that, the real work of the guide, not the actual recording. So, yeah, it's more than a full-time job. Much more than a full-time job. The better question is, how many hours a week do I work? That's an insane amount of time. Fuck. At least 70, I'd say. And on Twitter, John Rushing with the worst Twitter username I've ever seen. 1198905 asked, how many times have I died so far? I died once on Nightmare difficulty. I wasn't really paying attention. I was like changing podcasts or music or something like that I was listening to as I was recording, and I didn't use a health pack, and I was just kind of like pushing it, and I died. So I've died once. I didn't use any of the... I don't think I used any of the video from that first run, but it was very early on in the game, and I lost almost no progress. So it wasn't too big of a loss, fortunately. Thank God. Cross my fingers it doesn't happen again. Yeah. So that is the end of this dungeon. Game on.